Hey builders, Brick Ratty up here with another custom LEGO review. This time it is the March releases for Citizen Brick. Quick getting it out of the way. Freebie is still the same, it's their bookmark, some different writing on it. Just dumping it out, I got a bunch of different stuff. For my first item, just get out of the way, I got a special figure from them. They give these out every year if you spend a certain amount of money, which is much higher than most people would probably be comfortable saying. I'm very honored to have gotten this figure. And I already did a quick YouTube short showing off the Big Shot figure. I'll just do a quick little recap. It is a very simple figure with just a gold printed neutral face and this metallic dollar sign. Nothing on the back. But this is just a really cool customer appreciation thing that Citizen Brick does, and I'm very lucky to finally have one of these. Another quick item that I got was another one of the hockey enthusiast figures. I've already done a review on one of these, being the dark blue version that had the machete. And I saw that these came back in stock, so I grabbed one of the dark gray ones. I'm not sure if I'll take it out of the packaging. I might just keep this as a potential for trading, or also just having another cool figure. On the minifigure side of things, they released some new zombie parts like this tall head here, and also restock some, like these two torsos. I picked up a couple of each of these just in case I need them for trading eventually, and just overall they're very cool parts. For the Michael Jackson Thriller torso, you can pair it with some red legs. I picked these ones with like some knee pad details. I think that kind of fits with it. This wasn't released with the torso, but this was a previous commission, was this head here. And go ahead and just throw a hairpiece of some sort on there. And you have yourself a Michael Jackson zombie. Have to switch out the hand color probably. And it's too bad they have a torn up version of this jacket that would be more thematic with the zombie version. But for now, this will have to do for me. Printing on this is really great, having arm printing as well as front and back printing with all the different striping details. And I'm very glad to have gotten this for much cheaper since they restocked it. The next torso, I forgot to point out that I also got some of these zombie legs. And I'm just going to throw on the black flag torso onto these. And let's go with the Freddie Mercury zombie head. Again, nice printing all around with all the different tears in the shirt as well as the legs. I've bought a couple of these. I think the stitching for the pants is very cool and would be very useful for some non-zombie figures. It's so funny that they decided to make one for Freddie Mercury. I like this head a lot. So all of these parts are brand new to me, so I don't specifically know what's new or what is restocked, but I believe this head might be new. And just quick, those other zombie heads on some torsos. They're both also great. I enjoy the extra details on this one with it missing an eye. And you know what? These are pretty generic. You can probably have a bunch of them with the same head, especially this one. And if you have any ideas for a zombie build, I would definitely check them out. And this last zombie head, the Frankenstein looking one, is one of my favorites. It's going to pair very well if you have the Frankenstein's monster collectible minifigure. And I just put the head on the body. At the moment I do have the forehead part on, but it looks a little bit goofy. But the colors match, it's both that olive green, I believe. And I'll just quick take off that. And I do think that this head would probably look pretty good with some of these like longer female hair pieces to give it kind of a gross, greasy sort of hairstyle. But the detailing on this is really cool. The lines making the eyebrow works very well. Also, there's like all the specks going throughout the forehead as pores or something like that. This is such an interesting and cool part. I would definitely recommend this one for anybody. The last part of my order are their brand new fence parts that they custom molded in-house. And I'm just going to quick kind of show these off on a base plate so you can kind of get the idea of how they fit together. Right off the bat, I would say I'm very confused about the function of these. They don't actually line up perfectly with studs, so you might have to get a little creative with attaching them. I did notice that if you use some of these 1x2 with the studs in the center, you can get them to fit at an angle. But I think a lot of people would prefer to have them evenly fit on a base plate. So that's an interesting choice. I'm sure it's meant to make it more compatible with their clip parts. For this part, the gate is able to open. Be careful when you are opening it, otherwise you might accidentally flick it out and it'll fly away. But I think that's a cool feature. But it is kind of cool when you use some of their clip parts to connect more sections of the fence. And this looks pretty cool. Of course, there's all sorts of ways you can use this, whether you want to do a prison, or if you want to do some sort of post-apocalyptic Walking Dead sort of scene, or Last of Us scene. Along with these specific fence parts, they also introduced 2 different posts, one of which being straight and one of which being curved. And these are intended to be used with the barbed wire pieces that they released for Black Friday. And they have those bases that can attach to studs. Also on top of the base, there is a round stud, so you can secure the bottom barbed wire to it. These posts are not removable from the 1x3 plate at the bottom, but after you secure them, you can kind of move around the barbed wire a bit to make it a little less organized, or evenly space it out. And the pieces do slide up and down pretty easily, so you don't have to worry about it popping off too much. I would recommend maybe 4 or 5 of those barbed wire pieces to really fill up the fence. Even cooler, if you use their curved posts, you can use the barbed wire parts from the Black Friday release with the fences, and I think this is a cool look. And like I kind of pointed out earlier, it seems like they accounted for these clip parts with making the posts fit on the studs versus the fences on their own. So if you're going to try and use these fence parts, definitely make sure you buy some posts as well, otherwise you're going to have a harder time getting it to fit into your build. I do think this is the best combination with all of these parts, and I could definitely see a lot of people using them like this. I did some more experimenting. Unfortunately, I don't have a ton of these fence pieces, so I can't really show off much that you can do with it. But I think I found a pretty good solution if you want to make a fully enclosed fenced area. You're going to have to use 3 fence pieces and put them on the side, use some clip pieces to hold them down. And you can see that these posts will kind of work with it too. Might be a little bit too short, there'll be some fence showing at the top. But otherwise, these fence pieces, the tops and bottoms of them aren't wide enough for clip pieces. There wouldn't really be a good way to connect them as a roof. At the top of these gate fence parts, there are 2 posts, and you can slide a fence onto those, into the gaps. So that would be somewhat of a solution for adding a roof. And to give you an idea of the scale, 3 of the bigger fence posts will take up over a base plate. For this release, I would say it is going to be pretty divisive on if these are must-haves or pretty easy to pass depending on the buyer. All of these items would be pretty specific to people that collect certain things. If you're into zombies, obviously you're going to want to get these. I will say that the Michael Jackson jacket is a very cool piece, and because it's a pop culture icon, you might want to get that. And I do think this Frankenstein long head is very fun. And it's not 100% a zombie item, so maybe you'd want to go out of your way to get that one. And for these fence pieces, I could definitely see these being useful for the right person and building your mocks. But if you don't end up building things, I don't know if you necessarily need to get these. They would be kind of nice for a background for your zombie collection, perhaps, or some other sort of display diorama. You know, these zombie parts do fit pretty well with the official Lego zombies. So if you have any of these in your collection, having a couple more zombies for your horde wouldn't hurt. For these custom items, they work pretty well for upgrading figures, so that's kind of cool. If you want to see more of the Citizen Brick releases in the past or other custom LEGO videos, check out all the other ones on my channel. I've been Brick Ready Up, and I'll see you in the next video.